Ladies and gentlemen, I salute you. You've asked that I speak to you on a very important subject. Akwa Ibom State, the legal profession, and the emerging global economy, which, if we cut to the chase, is about creating robust opportunities for lawyers in this state. It's really how to make you versatile, experienced, and to have some money in your pocket. I'm happy that you appreciate the emerging economic trends in the state, which have already started manifesting in steady and sustainable steps. I'm even happier that you desire to play in that space. And why not? But let me be blunt. No amount of quantification will offer you an opportunity in the economic space unless you deliberately alter the current trajectory. So you must be determined to alter your disposition towards things. You must see the opportunities that are emerging and embrace them. And by so doing, you will avoid what Helen Keller characterized as fooling, that the most pathetic person in the world is someone who has sight but has no vision. Though a lawyer, I did not work in the legal department of ExxonMobil throughout my career, spanning 30 years. I can happily report that just being a lawyer offered me an extraordinary view of the business and a unique approach to issues. And this became even more germane when I assumed board responsibilities. I did my best to keep abreast with the law, especially in areas of interest, because I never wanted to be ill-prepared for a discussion with my learned colleagues, or to sign off on a matter that could embarrass me or create legal exposure for the company. So my remarks this morning will simply reflect my working experiences, very personal. It will not be steeped in law or wrapped in legalese. I want to be simple and truthful and with a focus on how you can find opportunities in an emerging economy. I am sure that you can identify with the major developed economies of the world, notably Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States, who in 1975, later joined by Canada in 1976, announced an intergovernmental economic organization called G7. The economy of these countries, we all know, is stable, resulting in a focus for growth in other emerging jurisdictions. And with a focus on a country that is recognized as having a significant GDP growth, as well as a large global contribution to production, an increase in the size of the middle class, and a potential for rapid growth and investment, came the birth of emerging markets, more represented as BRIC: Brazil, Russia, India, and China. These countries now account for roughly 30% of production globally. But I'm sure you know where China sits today, and that's clearly on top of the ladder. Other emerging markets include Mexico, South Korea, Colombia, Indonesia, Egypt, Turkey, and South Africa. In late 2005, Goldman Sachs identified the next group of countries to watch. They called them the N11, next 11. These were Bangladesh, Egypt, Indonesia, Iran, Mexico, Pakistan, Philippines, Turkey, South Korea, Vietnam, and our dear country, Nigeria. As of 2015, Nigeria was assessed as one of the fastest growing economies by real GDP of 7.3. Indonesia was even less, 5.5, Vietnam 5.6. But today, I'm sure you know our current situation, including the rather interesting news that we have come out of another recession. But I also hope you are aware that just yesterday or thereabout, the National Bureau of Statistics gave rather alarming figures on the situation of our unemployment condition. And this is a situation worth taking note of. Almost 50% of Nigerians are unemployed or underemployed. And if you look at the data affecting youths, you should be worried. The challenges confronting us should be a reminder of the counsel of Albert Einstein that imagination is more important than knowledge. There are so many educated people in Nigeria, so many policy documents, so many talk. But I don't know where we're heading. This is an opportune time to think out of the box. And I know that some people are already doing that, even here in Inoyo. So let us collectively agree on three things this morning: imagination, vision, drive. Imagination, vision, and drive. I will encourage you to read My Vision, Challenges in the Race for Excellence by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Al Maktoum, the Vice President and Prime Minister of United Arab Emirates and ruler of Dubai, which chronicles the journey of turning a regional economic center into one of the international acclaimed within a few decades. So make no mistake, the economy of the 21st century has already been identified. It has been defined largely by technological advancement. And only those who adapt quickly to this reality will have a place on the table. This is even more given the adjustments following COVID-19 pandemic. Many sectors are already experiencing disruption on account of new technology, including even how we worship. For example, the oil and gas sector, as at present, is impacted seriously by technology. You have big data and analytics. You have the industrial Internet of Things and edge computing, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, machine learning, robotics, drones, 5G networks, and collaboration tools that may effectively take jobs from people and enable technology to help drive production. This therefore means that in a country like Nigeria, with a huge population, largely youth, but with limited technological advancement, we must buckle up. We need to adjust to the new global trends across all sectors, failing which we will be left behind. The illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. The world will not wait for us. So what's going to happen to lawyers in Akwa Ibom State? Since the majority of you are from the states, let me begin by reminding you of the African proverb that birds sing not because they have answers, but because they have songs. I take pride in being an Akwa Ibom indigene, and I am appreciative of the ongoing transformation in this state, transiting in small measures from a predominantly subsistent agro-artisanal state and tending towards a semi-industrial economy. And of course, with the ambition of becoming industrialized soon. That is, if there is no disruption to the current roadmap. Governor Udom Emmanuel's focus on infrastructure, including port development, tourism and entertainment, including aviation, agro-allied businesses, information technology, education and health services, and the promotion of small and medium enterprises must be appreciated for the significant transformations this will bring to the state, including opportunities for human capital development, which, as we know, is pivotal for any developed economy. We all know that Akwa Ibom State is blessed and its potentials are huge. From its position as a coastal state of the Niger Delta, the fertile rainforest, enviable aquatic splendor, preponderant and largely untapped mineral resources, fortunes of the 13% derivation fund from crude oil production, and most importantly, some of the finest minds who can and are holding their own amongst peers anywhere in the world. We should never take that for granted. But these huge blessings must be properly harnessed for the benefit of everyone, not a few, everyone. Though a compact state and with all the resources I've enumerated above, it is painful that we have not made the kind of progress we should have. And that's why today we are still contending with poverty and unemployment, especially of our youth. We must therefore be clear as to what we want as a people and come together to work for the general good. For those of you who are keen watchers of CNN, and I know that all of us here enjoy watching CNN, I am sure you have come across the 100 Club. Maybe you've not taken notice of it. It is called the 100 Club, which celebrates businesses that have survived a century. I enjoy watching this program because it reinforces a common sense approach to personal and organizational success, irrespective of geography or race. These are grounded on hard work, diligence, the ability to change and adapt to contemporary realities, and of course, integrity. Has anybody bothered to ask the question why almost all businesses in our society fail? Are we concerned about why huge amounts of public funds will be committed to a venture and that venture will go to waste? How many people here recall that there was a thriving marine transportation business between Calabar and Oron in the 70s? A distance of what? 21 kilometers. Such services are littered all over Europe. And they have been operating for decades. Why are they succeeding there? What happened to our core steel company? What has happened to federal government aluminum smelter company of Nigeria, Alstom? Okuiboku, the new spring manufacturing company. What happened to Pearl River Hotel, Eke, Biscuit Factory, Sunshine Factory, Quality Ceramics, Pamir, Ebugo Fishing Terminal? Can you imagine where the state's economy would be today if all these businesses were thriving? Can you imagine? Is it not ironic that another company called Mobile Producing Nigeria. I worked there for 30 years. Started its operations in Akwa Ibom State a little over 50 years ago. And it's still doing well. Why is it doing well? And all your own, all have failed. Is it because you think they're expatriate workers? No. The last time I checked, about 94% of the workers there are Nigerians, including the many young, talented ones manning offshore platforms worth multi-million dollars. About 30% of the employees are from this state. So why are they running this complex operation successfully? And you cannot manage your own biscuits. Small things, you can't. Battery. It comes back to doing things the proper way, based on common tenets of hard work, diligence, and integrity. And if you want a more sophisticated name for it, call it global best practice. That's why CNN celebrates companies that have survived 100 years. What's my point? Unless we go back to these time-tested principles, we will not have a growing economy, and Akwa Ibom State will not be an investor's destination that we all desire, and which the current government of Udom Emmanuel has done a lot to position the state in that regard. It will not happen. But there is some element of good news, because I see the commitment of some of you, members of the bar and bench, to move things forward. So what should you be doing? My dear colleagues, you must begin the process of retooling and reskilling for the opportunities that are now here and those that lie ahead. You must expand your knowledge to embrace learnings that are looked for by a modern economy. Let me give you an example of the inherent opportunities, and I'll start with my familiar oil and gas sector. As you may know, the oil and gas sector is probably the most regulated anywhere in the world. And with this labyrinth of regulations come opportunities for lawyers. For example, lawyers are needed to advise on commercial transactions, as well as craft procurement contracts to avoid disputes down the road. Lawyers are also required to interpret complex technical laws and regulations and apply them in many technical areas of the business, such as drilling, operations, safety, projects. Lawyers are also required in various aspects of relationship management. That is companies' interaction with operational partners like NNPC, or with regulators like DPR, Department of Petroleum Resources, or even with National Content Development Management Board, as well as other government agencies. Internally, lawyers must opine on corporate governance issues, application of anti-corruption laws, including those of other jurisdictions, such as the U.S. Foreign Corrupt Practices Act or the UK's Anti-Bribery Act, as they affect operations in Nigeria. And of course, engagement with actors such as human rights and environmental rights groups. Lawyers are also needed to interpret the rights of employees under employment contracts, collective bargaining agreements with the unions, and labor laws. They also interface on consequences of workplace injury or accident, discrimination, harassment cases, disciplinary action. There are also opportunities as arbitrators. The point I'm making is that the list is long, and each of these areas provide abundant opportunities for all of you. You know, a fortnight ago, our state governor was in Morocco as part of a consortium that signed a $1.4 billion deal to produce ammonia in Nigeria. Just think about that. $1.4 billion. That's a lot of money. Given that the plant will be located in the state, you must begin now to prepare for the opportunities that will emerge. It may take a couple of years, land acquisition, things done. But if you start today, you will get there. You will get there. It will be sad that that kind of investment will come to Akwa Ibom State and we'll have lawyers coming from outside to get opportunities. I've had discussions with a few of my colleagues and would like to partner with this bar on the following initiatives. The first one is going to be building capacity. There are people who are interested in rolling out a learning opportunity, whether it's going to be physical or virtual, in diverse areas of law and economy. And I've already gotten 16 people sign up. And this will be expanded as we receive feedback from you, because we need to know your areas of interest. So, for example, Barrister Onyeka is willing to talk about project finance, concepts of arbitration in construction contracts. I have one of us, Tony Nda, who is willing to do that with Barrister Ifeanyi Yanago. The place of the judiciary in infrastructure development. I have the senior special assistant to the president on infrastructure, one of us, Ms. Ime, who is willing to talk about that. Energy regulation. Sometimes people ask questions, why don't we have power? We went into IPP, you have Udom Power here, you have gas, you have all these regulations, but why don't you have light? So I've asked Dr. Sam Amadi, who was former chairman of Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, is now a lecturer, head of public and international law in Base University. He's willing to talk about energy regulation. We need to focus on ethics in legal practice, which is where Udom Uko comes in. We need to talk about aviation law. Barrister Udom SAN is willing to help us in that area. We need to talk about arbitration. Barrister Inan Wilson, who is a partner with Templars, has signed up to do that. How do you establish and run a legal practice as a successful business? Kenneth, managing partner with Banwo and Igodalo, is ready to talk about that. Opportunities in the oil and gas and energy space. Dr. George Akpan, one of us, is going to be helping with Professor Lucky Urika of University of Port Harcourt. Advocacy in practice. Retired Justice Ukana is willing to help us. And you'll be listening to Basil Udotai. He has signed up to help talk about the digital space. Sports. Huge opportunities for lawyers. Paul Bassi, you know him, is going to be helping with the CEO and patron of Vandreza Energy, Joe Dofia. Professional ethics, legal practice. This was assigned to Udom SAN, now is the Attorney General, and he was here by 9 a.m. So he's going to do that. Tax practice. I've gotten a partner from Deloitte and Touch who is going to talk about that. So those are some of the initiatives we believe if there is a structured and sustained opportunity for knowledge sharing, nobody's coming to talk down on anyone. It's just about knowledge sharing. I think it will really help to open up the space, open up the dialogue so that we can all row in the same direction. Second point, which I've already mentioned briefly, is synergy for a sustainable legal practice. Look, we can't have everybody setting up chambers. We just can't afford to do it. It's not going to help. So some of you may just think about coming together because, there's unity in strength and it could be quite helpful. I really don't want to elaborate, but you get an idea of what I'm talking about. I want some people to consider shutting down some of their chambers and pulling together. The third initiative, which I need to work with the bar, and I'm ready to provide my own support. It's what I call structured in-chambers experience. I know while personal training is generally good and is encouraged, nothing offers a better opportunity for knowledge transfer than in-chambers experience. I get it that major briefs will always go to law firms with the needed expertise, but it will serve the state better if we mandate training of some of our lawyers, both from the ministry and the general bar. When such briefs are given out, call it our own version of local content. Opportunities in ministries, departments, and agencies. I want to see a meaningful engagement of all the ministries, departments, and agencies in the state to help unlock opportunities for lawyers and mitigate exposures. Government officials must know the critical importance of engaging lawyers in the conceptualization of programs and projects, and not just call on you when there is a crisis. The judiciary. I recognize that any discourse about the state of law practice will be incomplete without a mention of the state of the judiciary. Because in pitching for improvement in the state of the legal practice, the bar must use its enormous reach and pedigree to support and push for improvement of the fortunes of our judges. Likewise, our respected judges must be part of this ongoing capacity training. Because there's no point one person knowing and the other person is a bit inadequate. There could be a challenge. Conclusion. While thanking you again for the opportunity to engage, permit me to plead that the above recommendations should not be considered as silver bullets. This is a family, and I welcome ideas from all members on how to progress the conversation of creating opportunities for lawyers, especially the young ones. Given what I know, and especially His Excellency Governor Udom Emmanuel's determination to reconstruct the economy of Akwa Ibom State beyond crude oil, I can assure you that the state's future is bright. But to benefit, you must be deliberate in reskilling yourself, including a determination to explore beyond our shores. Do not let anyone tell you that you cannot serve and succeed. I'm particularly grateful to the senior legal practitioners from the state who are committed to sharing their experiences with the bar, knowing that this will be the most satisfying legacy of our generation. A lot more people have indicated interest to be part of this recommended knowledge sharing experience, and we'll keep broadening the subject of discourse. But you must ensure that this remains on the top burner. Finally, to the young ones, please remember that the moment you doubt whether you can fly, you cease forever to be able to do it. So never, never give in to fear. Most of you know me, and if there is a central theme to my story, it is the fact that it is possible to get to the top of a career without compromising one's spiritual values or soiling one's hands. I am a living testimony, and I know that you can also get there. May God bless you and bless Akwa Ibom State and Nigeria.